Hey guys, what's up? Excited about today's episode because I'm about to be joined by two whiskey making legends, Dennis McBain and Bill Morgan, who between the two of them have got over 100 years of whiskey making experience. We're going to be talking all things whiskey, living in Speyside. Hopefully I'm going to get some fantastic stories from them as well, so stay tuned for this one. I was thinking about this morning, gents, and not to kind of put too much of an age on you guys, but I think it's over, correct me if I'm wrong here, but maybe over 100 years of whiskey producing experience between the two of you. Would that be right?
Yeah, that would be right.
Yeah.
That's
You've just about right yourself.
Thanks, Al.
Sorry.
So Dennis, I'm going to start with you. We know each other a long time from my Glenfiddich days, and you being at Balvenie for 63 years at Balvenie as the coppersmith there. You still enjoying it? You still loving it?
Oh, I love it, yeah. Otherwise I wouldn't do it.
Yourself, Bill, you've worked in several distilleries. You were actually born in the street that we're in right now,
I
which
can
is...
see the house from here.
I think it was you that was telling me that amazing story about Dalyuen and the guys who were thieving from the actual trains.
Yeah, that's true actually.
So they were basically hiding out under the bridge, waiting for the train to come, and thieving whiskey from.
Yeah,
from the casks.
people say it was the customs and excise, but it was actually a combination of the customs and excise and the railway police that were waiting in the trees above the bridge. And what these guys used to do was they would take the puggy, which was the old trains that used to run around here. They would steal the whiskey under the bridge out of sight. I think somebody must have shot them, and the railway police got them. It's quite sad actually, because one of them actually went to jail.
So I mean, you mentioned excise officers here, and I remember you tell me we were looking through some pictures once, and there was an excise officer in one of the pictures, and it was at Glenfiddich, and I said to you, "Oh, Dennis, who's this guy? You remember this guy?" You were like, "I'll never forget this." You're like, "Oh yeah, we used to call him Bunny because he used to just pop up and surprise us all the time."
It's just a wee guy, you know. Distilleries back then, they had to provide housing for the customs and excise officer. Mm-hmm. So every distillery had a customs and excise officer's house situated at the distillery. And they called him Bunny because he would sneak about and pop up and try and catch him out, you know, and sometimes he did. But he was a nice guy. He just told them not to do it again, you know.
Yeah.
Most of the customs and excise officers were pretty decent guys.
Yeah.
Most of them were English, and you know, and you know, with Scots tend to think about English people, especially back then. You know, you were foreign if you came up here and had an English voice, you were foreign.
Oh,
yeah.
You weren't British, you were foreign.
We're from Englandshire.
Englandshire. But no, if you played the game with them, they were okay.
Oh, yeah.
But if you didn't, they could be pretty official, yeah.
They had to look after their own jobs, Dennis, as well, though, because I mean, when people
But
started selling stuff.
At the end of the day, we were getting the new make spirit. They were getting their share of the mature spirit, for testing instruments and various of these ploys. So the brewer, he was getting his share, so everybody was happy, you know. They couldn't report one another because they were all at it, you know.
Right. I mean, I've read the story from the guy who lived here, Ray Lyons, and apparently he used to get pretty sozzled, and then his dog used to help him up the hill.
The dog used to pull him up the hill.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh yeah, sometimes the customs and excise officers got a bit too much as well.
Oh yeah. They used to go into the warehouses with this case, and it had instruments in it, hydrometers and things, and it always came out heavier than it went in for some reason, you know.
That's crazy. I mean, you know, you look back on the dramming times, right? I mean, that must be quite an interesting time for you guys, because you were almost responsible for like giving out the dram something.
Before I was 18, I was running the warehouses at Cragganmore because nobody else wanted to do that job, and that was because if you worked in shifts in the stills and in the mash house and the tun room, you got shift money for working 10 to 6, 6 to 2, 2 to 10, and working weekends. Coopers and warehousemen like me, they didn't get that. They didn't get that extra money because they only worked 9 to 5, 5 days a week. So nobody wanted that job, which is why I got it when I was as young as I was. And legally I wasn't supposed to actually touch whisky because I was under 18, which was the minimum age. But I used to take the stuff out to dram out all the guys working in the distillery.
And how did that go? So it was 3 drams a day, right? Breakfast, lunch and dinner.
That was the official one.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Crazy.
The official ones.
Yeah. You got dirty drams. Remember the dirty drams, Dennis?
Oh,
Yeah, dirty dram for
You got a dirty dram, you got a dram if you helped to empty the mash down. You got a dram when they were bonding, you know. Seen a Saturday morning with 5.
Explain what a dirty dram is.
Like so, you know, with coal fires, cleaning out the flues and anywhere it was dusty and nobody wanted to do it. The brewer would say, if you go and do that, I'll give you a dram. And that was the incentive.
Oh yeah.
And then what was I think you told me a story once that some guys used to purposely make themselves dirty, right, to get the dirty dram.
No, that's just one guy. He worked in a malt, and so there was usually 5 people in the mash tun. But you begin with on your belly boot, stripped to the waist, and go in with a shovel and shuffle the draft down. There was four portholes, 18 inches round, went down into an elevator and out into the bend. And of course, when you come out of the mash tun, you know, it was like being in a sauna, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
You know?
Yeah.
And this guy would break come out to the mash tun, take off his clothes and turn on the tap. But the brewer knew what he was up to.
Oh.
You know,
Yeah.
he just let him away. Back in the Drummond days, I would say probably 90% of the people where I was, anyway, 90 odd percent took the drams, you know. And the guys that didn't take a dram, you know, they were looked upon as being, you know,
Like suspicious.
no, but soft, not hard enough to take this new make spirit, you know, it's 63.5 ABV, you know.
Yeah. There was a lot of peer pressure, you know what I mean? I remember the first time I went to have a dram. I mean, the guy that was pouring stuff out his mind would drink already anyway. I mean, he just wanted somebody to have a drink with, basically. Yeah.
So that is crazy, right? I mean, essentially you guys were drinking 3 big drams per day straight off the still, or straight out of the cask at 63.5%.
I measured the measure we used at the distillery, 70 mil.
70 mil.
70 mil,
Wow.
so 63.5.
Tenth a bottle.
So that's over a double shot by today's
Oh, yeah.
standards,
Oh,
easily.
yeah.
No, I mean, I suppose that's the biggest change in the whisky industry, right? Is the health and safety aspect of it now, and the sort of cleanliness that there are in distilleries.
As long as the work was done, somebody might have a wee bit too much. But the brewer who ran the show would just turn a blind eye. The work was done and whatever. And if somebody did kind of fall by the wayside, his mates would do that bit extra. So at the end of the day, the work was done, you know.
I think, going back to the customs and excise, they come in for a lot of criticism, but they were only doing their job, and they're protecting their own job and their own family and their own income as well. Because if something happened and someone was stealing whisky and selling it on, they got their books as well as the guy that was the actual criminal, you know.
Yeah.
So I actually got on very well because I worked in the warehouse, and I worked alongside quite a few of these customs and excise guys. There's one of them, they called him Harpic because he was cleaning around the bend. That's my only joke. It's the only one you're getting today.
That's it. Bill's stand-up's done for the day.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, the demographic of Speyside has changed quite a bit because not only, I mean, I suppose there are still a lot of people up here working at the distilleries, but a lot less than back in the day with you guys, because to your point, Bill, earlier on, everything's automated.
I've got photographs of distilleries like Cardew and Tamdew where there's over 50 people, engineers, maltmen, warehouse workers, shift workers. Now you've got 6 guys and a computer, you know. And that's what's happened. And I've actually got the book that my brother and my brother-in-law wrote on how to make whisky based on what they did at their work. And that is what went into the IT department to write the software for the computer that runs Cardew.
With the modern technology, like you say, with the computer, the guys haven't got the same satisfaction, job satisfaction, sitting at a keyboard. You know, instead of going and physically opening valves and putting on pumps and really being more aware of what's going on in the plant, not looking at the screen. You know, you can see your stalls working, you can see the mash down, the wash back, you know, and just you can.
And Dennis, you're still active with work and fishing and golfing and hitting the nightclubs in Elgin.
Not just now, not with COVID.
Oh yeah, they're all closed right now.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you, hearing all your stories. Always great to catch up with the both of you. All right, guys.
Catch me if you can. I'm going back.